I'm Allison with Mission 43 Education, and today we're here to learn a little bit more about the Project Management Professional Certification. The PMP certification is a highly sought-after credential in employers and industries across Idaho. I'm going to sit down with the experts that are going to talk about the path to certification and the employment afterwards. This is the Mission 43 Education Discovery Series. I'm sitting down with Sven Anderson. Sven is a QMS training specialist at Amazon Devices, and Sven has also gone through the Project Management Professional course with Mission 43. Sven, thanks so much for joining and sharing a little bit about your story.
Yeah, happy to be here.
Good. Well, you're a Leaders Fellow. You are a certified PMP.
That's true.
You are a QMS training specialist at Amazon.
Yes.
What's next?
I'm not sure, but I know that there's I don't know, I guess I could say the sky is the limit. I'm still getting settled into being retired from the military and getting settled here in Idaho. And right now I'm just focused on continuing to learn and develop in my new career and spending a lot more time with family.
Well, and you went through the PMP course when you were transitioning from the military, right?
Yeah, I would say that was a foundational piece of my transition and a very helpful piece of my transition.
So before you were even in Idaho, before you were even out of the military, you saw that we had a PMP course, and it was only our second one. You maybe didn't know that by that time.
I knew it was new. I knew that it was new, yeah.
But what made you want to earn your PMP as you were transitioning?
Yeah, so you can find lots of information out there on LinkedIn and other places that military personnel make great project managers, and it's an easy transition to be a project manager. I didn't know if that was necessarily the case, and I had talked to some people, and they said, there's a lot of opportunities. You can do a lot of different things, and it's very applicable. Having the certification is very desirable to have on your resume, and it shows that what you're capable of, and it gives you a certain level of credibility. When I saw that Mission 43 was doing the course and how successful people had been in it, I thought, this might be a way to pad my resume and maybe learn some new skills. And so that's kind of what I went into it expecting. And I would say that I definitely got that and more out of it. Interestingly enough, one of the things that I definitely got out of it was I realized I definitely don't want to be a full-time project manager.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Especially going into a project management course.
It's true. That being said, I'm still really glad that I did it. I think understanding what you don't want to do is just as important as understanding what you do want to do. And, when you're getting out of the military, you're trying to figure out what you want to be when you grow up. I decided that's not what I want to do. But going through the course, I learned a couple things, and that was I learned how to translate my skills, which is a really hard thing to do. I was a helicopter pilot. I was an instructor pilot in the Army. But other than I fly helicopters, was really, really hard for me. So I learned how to translate my skills. I learned the language of civilian business, of the corporate world, which is, once you kind of understand that, you're like, oh, that makes sense. I've done that, and I understand what that means, and now I can have intelligible conversations with people who are not in the military. And then I did learn a lot of skills. I learned, even though you're preparing for a test, you learn about different things. You do a little bit of homework. You find out how things work, and you're like, oh, I've used similar things, and I didn't know that this existed. And some of that stuff I even am able to apply in my job now. So it was highly beneficial, even though I don't want to be a project manager by definition.
Well, and that's really good that you touch on it, and surprisingly, I actually really like to hear that, because something that I think is very valuable personally for the PMP is, I am not by title a project manager either, but it helps so much in all these other aspects. So it's really neat to hear someone that found out that maybe being a titled project manager full-time is not what you want to do. But you did it. You went through the course, you earned the PMP certification, and now tell me how that, even though your title is not project manager, tell me how that is involved with your career today at Amazon.
Yeah, so I went through the Hiring Our Heroes program, the corporate fellowship. I probably would not have gotten through the first interview had I not been through the program, because once again, just that language, and it gives you that certain level of credibility. But once I got into it, one of the big things that I learned was stakeholder management. So really identifying who the important players are, who the decision makers are, and how often you need to communicate with them, the ways that they prefer to be communicated with, things that you kind of maybe do naturally sometimes, but knowing that that's a specific part of project management, I see how important it is now, and I'm able to kind of focus on it more. Just organize the way you organize your information, the way you share information too, so that you can collaborate. That's another way that I'm using different tools, whether it's just simple spreadsheets, but other collaborative software like Asana, like things that I was not familiar with in the military, using it every day at Amazon, and makes the job much easier. So.
Right. Well, you say Asana, and I'm not sure how many people that are watching might understand what that is either. So it's great that that's something that you can just freely speak about now as something that you know of. For those that aren't familiar, Asana.
It's a collaborative project management software.
Yeah.
You can use it in a lot of different ways, but it's just really a great way to organize the things that need to be done, when they need to be done, and who needs to do them. Yeah.
It's super popular. There's a ton of project management software out there, but Asana is a really good one.
Yeah. We use a lot of different options at Amazon. My team, we just chose to use Asana, and it works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so after going through transitioning from the military, moving to Idaho, going through the PMP course somewhere in there, and then turning around and getting a job and having a life here in Idaho, tell me more about any advice that you would give to someone that would be in that position right now.
Don't be scared to try new things. Don't be scared to get out there. I will say that because Mission 43 has this program that set me up really well, there was limited risk. I didn't have to spend a whole lot of money to go through the course. I mean, there's some cool PMP boot camps out there, but I mean, it costs a lot of money, and you're like, was that really worth it? I'm not sure if that's what I want to do. But if you find those opportunities where you can learn and you can develop, if you can get a certification, even if you are not necessarily sure you're going to use it, take those risks and learn, and start early, because once you're actually out, it's not too late, but you've kind of lost a lot of that momentum and that ability to take advantage of the goodwill that's out there towards transitioning veterans, and a lot of those programs. So you really want to start early and dabble and figure out what it is that you want to do and what you don't want to do.
Yeah. Well, Sven, thank you so much for being honestly a Mission 43 champion and a really good example for all the opportunities and possibilities as you're transitioning from the military, which is not a fun or exciting experience all the time.
It's challenging,
It's challenging, and thank you for being here and sharing a little bit of your story with us.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime, Allison.